After reports of gunshots, Rapid City Police have been trying to track down a stolen vehicle that could be connected.
And as promised, temperatures are rising a bit today, but so will that wind as we head into the afternoon.
Plus, we've heard a lot about the Pfizer vaccine, but what's the latest with Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine? We'll have those details at noon.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at noon.
During the last few days, Rapid City Police have been trying to track down a stolen vehicle that may be connected to reports of gunshots. Good afternoon, I'm Sunday Miller. Police spotted the car at a gas station on La Crosse Street last night, but the suspects scattered in different directions. Police say one of the suspects got back into the car and drove toward a Pennington County Sheriff's deputy, just missing him and driving off. Police say the deputy fired several shots at the car's engine, trying to disable it but failed. Police say they were able to stop the car with a tactical maneuver and arrested the driver. The driver has since been identified as 22-year-old Montarian Winfrey.
It's a constant thing that we have to evaluate, is pursuing the vehicle worth catching the person. And in this case, again, with the multiple shots fired involving this vehicle and everything else, this is something that we needed to get this guy.
Police say Winfrey was placed under arrest on multiple charges. You can tell that city crews were working hard overnight to clear the ice from our roads. Let's check in with meteorologist Eric Gardner with the forecast first. Eric?
Well, it looks like it did clear up the roads pretty nicely. The work from the snow plows and also the warmer temperatures. We have a few rain or snow showers, though, in parts of the Black Hills right now. We'll take a look at that. Let's take a look first, though, at our Golden West weather camera shot from Gunderson Palmer Law Firm. We have mostly cloudy skies right now. Decks of mid and high-level clouds moving overhead, but look at the temperature. Now 42 degrees, and that wind beginning to pick up, sustained at 14 miles per hour. First alert Doppler radar shows some rain and snow showers here in the Black Hills. We will continue to see scattered rain and snow showers through the Black Hills into the afternoon. That could be a slight dusting of snow here and there, maybe making the roads wet, or one or two slick spots, but temperatures are warming up as we head into these afternoon hours. In Rapid City, our high about 45 with northwest winds at 15 to 30 miles per hour. Sunday?
Thank you, Eric. And speaking of snow, it made an appearance in the Black Hills on Monday, bringing with it slick roads and car accidents. The Rapid City Police Department responded to 34 accidents between 2 p.m. and midnight on Monday. And from midnight until 10 yesterday, there were 3 more accidents. Police say drivers should always be aware of the changing conditions while on the road. To get to your destination safely, it's advised you give yourself extra time, reduce your speed, and have the snow completely cleaned off your car. President-elect Joe Biden's clean energy plan calls for a carbon pollution-free power sector in 15 years. In response to this, Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon wants to make sure that the oil and gas industries are protected. Governor Gordon held a virtual press conference yesterday. He says he's concerned there could be a possible federal ban on oil and gas leasing and wants to make sure that doesn't happen under the new administration. The governor's office partnered with the University of Wyoming on the potential impact of a ban. Researchers say the state could lose $300 million in tax revenue each year if that happens.
The primary goal was just to illuminate exactly what the challenges would be under a leasing ban. We're, of course, very concerned about diversifying Wyoming's economy to making it less dependent on exactly the swings that a commodity market can bring.
Researchers say studies were conducted in several other states, and they had similar results. The first doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in Rapid City were given out to Monument Health staff earlier this week. And Tuesday morning, the first shots were given to caregivers outside of the Monument Health system. Our Miranda O'Brien was there to witness this milestone and has the story.
I did this for them, and I look forward to the day when they can do what they want to do. They've got a lot of living and memories to make, and this is the first step for them.
Nancy Keller, administrative assistant for West Hills Village, was one of the first people to receive the Tuesday morning vaccine. A choice she and others made not only for themselves.
I think without hesitation, anyone who has an opportunity to get the vaccine really needs to seriously consider getting it for themselves and for the people around them so that we can take our community to a different to a different step and area than what we're in right now.
50% of the 975 vaccines received Monday will go to Monument Health caregivers, specifically those working to care for COVID-19 patients. The other half will go towards skilled caregivers.
This is huge for us because it's very difficult to go to work knowing that every time we come to work and we're taking care of people, there's a potential risk that we're bringing, but also a risk that we're receiving.
Keller and Reinecke said the shot was simple and painless, much like the flu shot they get regularly.
It did not hurt at all, like a flu shot. And I expect to, feel fine. I feel fine right now. It didn't hurt. I expect to feel the same way throughout the day.
For KOTA Territory News, I'm Miranda O'Brien.
A record 112,000 people are currently hospitalized in the U.S. with COVID-19. But there's new hope as we near emergency authorization of a second vaccine. This time from Moderna, the FDA released its official review and finds it highly effective. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
One vaccine out and another likely on the way. A light at the end of the tunnel 9 months into this pandemic.
I am very hopeful. I have to tell you, every time I look at the data, every time I see new data, I am more and more impressed at both of these vaccines.
An FDA advisory committee is set to vote on emergency use authorization of Moderna's vaccine Thursday. And if it gets the official green light from there, 6 million doses could be distributed next week. Thousands of healthcare workers across the country have already gotten the Pfizer vaccine, and more shipments are still rolling out.
That moment that I can just embrace my kids and just give them the biggest hug I can possibly give them, I'll probably just cry my eyes out.
Unlike Pfizer, Moderna's vaccine does not need to be stored in ultra-cold freezers, and it will only be authorized for people 18 and older versus Pfizer's, which is for age 16 and up. Moderna's is believed to be nearly 95% effective, a sign of hope as the coronavirus rages across the country. Last week was the deadliest since the pandemic began, and the U.S. death toll keeps rising with more than 3,000 dying Tuesday alone, according to the COVID tracking project. Mary Helen Lopez Garcia of Grand Prairie, Texas, lost her sister and brother-in-law, both beloved teachers.
So they were holding hands before they started to remove them from the intubation. They died within 1 minute of each other.
In California, 60 morgue trucks were ordered on standby, the state activating its mass fatality program, preparing for what officials think might be the worst days yet.
We're going through perhaps the most intense and urgent moment since the beginning of this pandemic.
Now, because most Americans won't be vaccinated for months, experts are urging people to still be very careful by continuing to social distance and wearing a mask. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Coming up, a massive project has been approved for Box Elder. Find out what changes are in store after the break. And now, Eric, I love Chick-fil-A, but I can't imagine eating anything for 114 days. Well, maybe you're cooking, actually.
Yeah, there you go. We can do that, but that's a lot. That's a lot of dedication to go into that. I do like Chick-fil-A as well. We just don't have any here.
We don't, but actually one's going to get built in Sioux Falls.
Yeah?
So that's exciting.
Okay. And they have one in Brookings on the university campus.
That's right. So if you want to make a trip, you can get it there.
There you go. It's a long drive.
Yes, it is.
Let's take a look at our extended forecast. We have some breezy conditions developing for us this afternoon. A couple of isolated rain or snow showers over the Black Hills. And then tomorrow night, pretty good chance of a band of rain or snow showers quickly moving through behind a cold front. It'll kind of be a cold day for us on Friday behind that front. But by Sunday, 55.
I was going to say, what a beautiful weekend ahead.
That's right. But just after that, toward Christmas, it's going to be turning a lot colder. Maybe not very snowy, but a lot colder.
Oh, so that's good to know. Thanks for joining us. The Rapid City Fire Department had a busy weekend responding to multiple fires that they're now calling suspicious. At about 11:30 on Friday night, RCFD responded to a dumpster fire on 11th Street at the College Nursing Student Building. Firefighters were able to put out those flames. A few hours later, at 1 a.m., they got another call for a dumpster fire just across the street from the first call. And that quickly turned into a structure fire. Crews found a residential garbage can on fire. It was placed against a garage, and the garage and the car inside were engulfed in flames. As crews were finishing, another call came in for a third dumpster fire, this one on Mount Rushmore Road. Firefighters found a commercial dumpster with flames spreading to a storage shed. And at 5:45 a.m., crews were called yet again, this time to South Street, where they found another garbage can, garage, and this time a motorcycle on fire. 15 minutes later, another call came in just after 6 on Lacrosse Street, where a shipping container was in flames. In a statement from the Rapid City Fire Department, they say each of these fires were put out within 10 minutes, and the first 4 fires were reportedly caused by people. This is an ongoing investigation. We'll provide more details as they become available. Rapid City Police are currently investigating a robbery at a Rapid City subway this morning. Police say on the 900 block of East North Street, a robber came in with a handgun and demanded money from the cash register. The employee complied and the suspect was seen fleeing the subway headed northwest. Police described the suspect as lighter-skinned male with a short and slim build, wearing a purple sweatshirt, acid-wash jeans, sunglasses, and black gloves. This is an ongoing investigation. We'll provide more updates as they become available. The mental health of teens across South Dakota is declining during the pandemic, with surveys showing more kids are considering, attempting, and dying by suicide. Our Dominic Dausch joins us to discuss this issue.
A major South Dakota survey was released this year showing big jumps in the number of teens who have both seriously considered and attempted suicide in 2019. This setting the stage for 2020, where actual suicide rates among our Pennington County youth have more than tripled.
President-elect Joe Biden continues building out his incoming administration, despite President Trump still refusing to cooperate with the formal transition process. This week, Biden is expected to start naming key members of his cabinet as states begin certifying their election results. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the latest. The Pennington County Sheriff's Office filed a lawsuit to overturn Amendment A, the ballot measure that would legalize recreational marijuana. We asked one legal expert about the suit and the comments made by the group who backed the amendment. Austin Goss has the story from our peer newsroom.
Recreational marijuana may have been approved by a majority of South Dakota voters. However, the pathway to legalization just gained some new roadblocks. Neil Fulton is the dean of the USD Knutson School of Law. He took a closer look at the lawsuit Monday.
One of the interesting questions here is it's a constitutional provision, and like the plaintiffs are arguing, generally those are more broad, open-ended principles as opposed to nitty-gritty regulations.
The plaintiffs argue the amendment violates the state's one subject rule, which means that constitutional amendments cannot cover more than one topic.
Processes for how we amend our Constitution and how amendments are explained to make sure that that process is fair and open. And I think really the plaintiffs are saying that this was too broad for people to have a good understanding of it, and it didn't follow our structure on the division of responsibility on how the Constitution's got to be amended.
In a statement, South Dakotans for Better Marijuana Law said, quote, "We are prepared to defend Amendment A against the lawsuit filed by Pennington County Sheriff Kevin Thome and Superintendent of South Dakota Highway Patrol Colonel Rick Miller. Amendment A was carefully drafted, fully vetted, and approved by a strong majority of South Dakota voters this year," end quote. The group also argues the lawsuit was filed incorrectly as a contest to an election. However, Fulton says that might not be the case.
Really looking at is that's the mechanism to bring it into court. The underlying real question is still going to be for the judge and justices when this gets to the South Dakota Supreme Court one way or the other is what is the meaning of single subject?
In the peer newsroom, I'm Austin Goss.
While Amendment A goes through the court process, Rapid City locals and registered South Dakota voters had a few words to say about this lawsuit, reacting to law enforcement's argument that Amendment A cannot be approved by a vote of the people, but rather has to go through the state legislature. Since Friday, people flooded the Pennington County Sheriff's Office Facebook page to voice their distaste for the lawsuit. Dozens of people reviewed the Pennington County Sheriff's Office, leaving them an overall 1.8 out of 5-star rating. Many people cited the use of taxpayer dollars for the lawsuit and an overreach of power. One South Dakotan says he understands the lawsuit, but still thinks the will of the people should take precedent.
I don't understand the technicalities behind it and what's wrong about it or what's right about it. like the lawsuit that they brought up makes sense in the way they did it, but at the same time, South Dakota the voters know what we voted for, which was recreational marijuana.
Meade says the people should not be faulted for how the amendment was written or if its passing is unconstitutional. Last week, the Rapid City Council held the first reading on a proposed citywide mask mandate, with Mayor Steve Allender breaking the tie, voting in favor of the proposal. And last night, the council met at a special meeting where they approved the first reading of a new mask mandate by a vote of 9-1. The new ordinance goes into more detail compared to the ordinance that was read last week, the second reading of which was tabled last night. One change the council made was to remove the part in the ordinance referring to houses of worship, meaning they do not fall under the umbrella of the mandate. And the city council weren't the only ones talking. The public comment section lasted about 3 hours, with many of the people at the meeting against a mask mandate. But overall, Allender says they recorded 350 public comments, both in person and online, with almost 200 of those in favor of a mandate. Allender says a lot of people are for the mandate stayed at home as the council discussed the future of the city.
We're trying to make Rapid City as safe as it can be. This is a public health crisis. This is not like anything that we or any other government on earth at this moment has dealt with to this extent. And so, it's all new ground for us, and there's a lot of feelings and emotions about it.
Proposed Ordinance 6454 will move on to a second reading at the City Council meeting on December 7th, along with the tabled second reading of Ordinance 6453, a more restrictive but shorter lasting mask mandate, which passed its first reading earlier in the month. Rapid City isn't the only Black Hills community looking to take steps to cut down on COVID-19. Deadwood declared a mask mandate last week, requiring face coverings in all city-owned buildings. And we have the reactions from Deadwood residents.
It's worth trying. Like in Deadwood, we haven't had any regulations of any sort, and the cases have gone up. So I feel like it's a good precaution, and if it does help, it's not really harming anyone, and that it could be a good thing.
When I first heard that they were doing that, I was really glad about it because I have to come down here all the time, and up until just a couple of weeks ago, I was working here in Deadwood every day too. So I was pretty nervous about it because Deadwood gets so much tourism traffic that I assumed that particularly when we weren't having a hard time with it a few months ago, I was worried that it was going to come in through Deadwood.
City Planning and Zoning Commissioner Jeremy Russell says he has seen positive feedback from other residents. Their mask mandate is in effect until December 30th. You may have had some trouble getting home last night or driving to work this morning with those slick and snowy roads. Good afternoon, I'm Sunday Miller. Rapid City Police responded to at least 8 vehicle crashes yesterday due to those slick conditions. And with snow still on the ground, let's check in with meteorologist Eric Gardner. Eric?
Well, it looks like we are going to be seeing improving road conditions throughout the afternoon hours. Most of the main streets are just wet and beginning to improve rapidly. Some of the parking lots, like ours on Skyline Drive, still have some snow cover on them, but it looks like that will be improving as well. We'll look at some of the snowfall amounts from yesterday's system in just a moment. This is our Golden West weather camera shot looking on Main Street to the west now. It's warmed up, if you can call it warmed up, to 24 degrees. Blue skies and sunshine, winds east-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Temperatures will climb a few more degrees, getting up to around 32 degrees, perhaps in downtown. Winds are light and variable, kind of a nice looking day. And again, because of the sunshine, well, the snow is melting off or drying up off of many of the main roads, and that's some good news. We'll have much more in this system and maybe another system in just a few minutes. Sunday?
Good news indeed. Thank you, Eric. Monday was a historic day for our nation when the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines began. Monument Health here in Rapid City was included, with the first person at the hospital receiving the COVID-19 vaccine yesterday. Even though a limited number of people got the dose last night, Monument Health received 975 vaccines. 50% will go to Monument Health acute caregivers who are taking direct care of COVID-19 patients. And the other half will go towards skilled caregivers. And they expect the shipment from Pfizer every week, but the public likely will not have access to the vaccine for a while.
It could be second quarter to third quarter of next year, so 2021. In the meantime, we mainly will be vaccinating the caregivers. And here's the important message. Every one of us, those who get the vaccine, those who haven't, we need to be patient, continue to wear your mask, hand wash, keep your distance, do all the public health safety measures so we're safe until we get the vaccine.
Monument Health is expecting a second vaccine by Moderna to be shipped out on December 22nd. Speaking of the vaccine, healthcare workers at West Hills Village in Rapid City will start receiving the Pfizer vaccine today. Our Natalie Cruz talked with a registered nurse and a resident to find out how they feel about the vaccine in their retirement community.
As of Monday, more than 4,200 people over 80 years old in South Dakota have tested positive for COVID-19. More than 700 of the state's deaths have been in that age group, a group that is at risk and ready for the vaccine.
And we're very much looking forward to a high success rate with the vaccination and someday getting our communities a little bit closer to normal again.
Nursing homes have faced many challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tuesday, some healthcare workers at West Village will receive the first round of the Pfizer vaccine. Megan Tryon, a registered nurse and director of clinical services, West Hills Village, says she is grateful to be among the first getting the vaccine.
We're hopeful and looking forward to the day when we can allow visitors into our facilities as we usually do and have just less risk overall to the resident group that we care for.
Tryon says senior care residents should have the opportunity to get vaccinated in the coming weeks through a CVS pharmacy partnership. Dr. John Barlow, who lives at West Hills, said he's ready to take the vaccine.
Vaccines are a wonderful thing to have. They've saved thousands of lives, and hopefully this one will be very effective.
Pfizer says their vaccine is 95% effective against COVID-19, beginning 28 days after the first dose. Monument Health Director Dr. Shane Karkura says the safety profile is remarkable.
No matter what age group, you're talking about 55 and above or from 16 to 55, even folks with comorbid conditions like diabetes, hypertension, obesity, all of them benefit from it without any significant side effects.
Vaccination for caregivers is not mandatory but highly encouraged. Statistically, they probably will. 99% of the staff already has their flu shot. Reporting in Rapid City for KOTA Territory News, I'm Natalie Cruz.
911, this is Allie. How can I help you?
Allie, Allie, I'm the Attorney General, and I don't know, I hit something.
What you just heard was the 911 call when South Dakota Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg struck and killed a pedestrian in September. We fast forward 3 months, Ravnsborg is speaking about the investigation publicly for the first time. The Attorney General was at the state capitol yesterday, and in an exclusive interview with KOTA Territory News, he says he is not stepping down, not taking a leave of absence, and will continue doing his job.
Have not committed any crime, and I believe that we will, when we have all the facts, not selective amount of facts come out, we'll know the full story and we'll make a full statement.
South Dakota Highway Patrol says Ravnsborg was driving this 2011 Ford Taurus westbound on U.S. Highway 14 when he struck 55-year-old Joseph Beaver. In the accident report, investigators say Ravnsborg failed to stay in the proper lane and was distracted, but the report does not specify on what the distraction was. The investigation looking into this fatal crash is still ongoing. We'll provide more updates as they become available. Switching gears, by the end of the month, the Rapid City Fire Department will have answered more than 19,000 calls in 2020, with 16,000 of them just for ambulance services. But how is the department handling frequent callers? Fire Chief Jason Culberson says there are a fair number of people in Rapid City who use this ambulance service anywhere between 40 to 50 times a year. Although every call is important, Culberson says not every call needs the same response. And to help answer lower priority calls, the department sends a mobile medic. That program has saved about 60% of patients from a trip to the emergency room. By sending the mobile medic, one person responds, with most of the same equipment found in a 2-person ambulance.
Not everybody who calls 911 and requests an ambulance needs to go by an ambulance. An ambulance is an emergency vehicle that needs to respond and take people who are extremely sick and injured. So trying to just connect that back together with our community and those that utilize our services.
Overall, Culberson says the success of the mobile medic is saving the city money. As we know, healthcare workers are getting the long-anticipated COVID-19 vaccine months into this relentless pandemic. The vaccine is here not a moment too soon, with COVID-19 cases surging across our country and a record 110,000 people currently hospitalized with the virus. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
The doses are rolling out and frontline workers are rolling up their sleeves. America now on its way to healing. Critical care nurse Sandra Lindsay of New York was one of the first in the nation to be vaccinated.
No pain, no feeling of tiredness, no malaise, I'm just feeling great.
9 months into the pandemic, a sigh of relief from healthcare workers taking part in the largest vaccination effort in U.S. history. From Florida and Louisiana to Texas and Colorado.
I feel safer about coming home to my family at night after having this vaccine.
A recent Pew Research survey shows 61% of white Americans and 63% of Latinos would get the shot, compared to just 42% of black Americans. Those on the front lines leading by example in hopes of diminishing skepticism.
To people might be on the fence, they should trust the science and feel comforted knowing that the vaccine is safe. What is not safe is contracting COVID-19.
On Monday, the U.S. topped 300,000 deaths, 17,000 in the last 7 days, 101 fatalities an hour. Hospitals overwhelmed with a record number of COVID-19 patients.
We are still in a terrible situation with the numbers.
Health experts warn things will only get worse when it comes to deaths over the next few months, reminding people to follow safety precautions.
So we've got to get people vaccinated as quickly and as expeditiously as we possibly can. But in the meantime, we have to adhere to the public health measures.
Operation Warp Speed says about 50 million people will likely be vaccinated by the end of January, with the general population getting access to vaccines by March and hopefully herd immunity by summer. But it is still unclear how long the effects of the vaccine will last. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And coming up, the Rapid City School Board swears in a new member in the middle of a pandemic. We'll hear what her plans are for the district after the break. Welcome back. Creators of an amazing piece of robotic technology are showing off its bells and whistles.
And it's dance moves Jeremy Roth has today. Take a look at this.
Now, hot cocoa isn't only filling up cups this holiday season, it's also filling up people's online feed, which is why 2 Rapid City women jumped on the social media trend, creating sweet treats from their home. Our Miranda O'Brien is live in their kitchen to share this hot cocoa trend. Good afternoon, Miranda.
Hey, Sunday.
Calling all hockey fans, it's almost that time of year for opening weekend with the Rapid City Rush. Joining me from the Rush to tell us more are Mark and Val. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back. 'Tis the season to start thinking about holiday decorations. And one popular addition to many homes are scented candles. Joining me from the Rapid City Fire Department is Monica Colby, who's the Fire and Life Safety Specialist. Thanks for being here, Monica.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course, and thanks for always bringing props. Let's talk about candle safety.
All right.
Now, think about graduating in 2020. Whether it's virtual or condensed, ceremonies look a lot different this year. Joining me is a recent grad from Black Hills State University. This is Katie Wolf. Thanks for being here, Katie.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Meteorologist David Stradling brings us the forecast first. So, David, I hear there's a chance of snow this weekend.
Yeah, there is a small chance of snow, and that's going to be for tomorrow morning. It's not really going to be anything to worry about, though. Okay. It's just going to be potentially our first snow in quite some time, and we haven't had any measurable snow since November 14th, so nearly a month ago. Today was cloudy, and we still see a few of those snow showers that are going to be developing into the Black Hills and northeast Wyoming.
And David, I thought that was so sweet that the officers not only helped that little girl out, but then they brought her a toy.
Exactly, yeah. I was thinking you might have to break it to get it out, but then they one-upped it and brought back a new toy, so it's pretty awesome.
'Tis the season, and it is a season for snow as well.
Yeah, it is a season for snow. We've been very dry in that compartment this year. We had some snow mainly in October where we picked up 12 inches through the month. We're only at about 14 now.
Whew, you know, Eric, I think I'd have a hard time conceptualizing 2020 into one word too.
I know, it's and they won't be very pleasant words, that's for sure.
No, not at all.
This year. But at least Thanksgiving should be nicer than last year. Last year was a terrible year. We had that blizzard the day after, the ice during the day, and
we'll never forget
that. Let's take a look at that extended forecast. Looks like we are going to see some pretty pretty quiet weather this week, occasionally windy, ups and downs with temperatures. Thanksgiving high 45 degrees. Looks like if you're shopping on Black Friday, sunny and 48. Windy on Saturday with a high of 55, then colder Sunday with a high near 40 degrees. So not so bad, really.
I will definitely take a little bit windier than anything else like
we had last year, yes.
Well, we hope you enjoy your holiday, and we hope we see you again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good day.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News.
Tonight on Black Hills Fox News, following a large police response, Mayor Steve Allender holds a media conference to address last night's protest in Rapid City. Plus, thousands gather in Washington, D.C., protesting the Supreme Court nominee before the presidential election. And with fires raging in the West, find out how natural disasters can impact blood donations. Those details are first on Fox tonight. What started as a peaceful group of people providing resources for the homeless turned into what law enforcement is calling a protest. Good evening, I'm Sunday Miller. Our Connor Matson was there and has the story.
Food, warmth, and shelter, necessities. It's what one group claims they provided the homeless Friday night until law enforcement broke it up.
Obviously, we're all in on solutions for the homeless. This is not a solution for the homeless. This is a protest.
And this is not a protest. We're simply providing, we're attempting as relatives to provide for our other relatives when the city and the police and the state and the government refuses to.
The land is city property. Rapid City Mayor Steve Allender says he had discussed with NDN Collective options to use that land to help the homeless. However, that didn't stop some people from trying to help.
As part of a feed down here, these teepees were erected, and that's in violation of city ordinance. And the organizers of this knew that they were in violation of city ordinance.
With this violation, law enforcement calls it a protest and treated it like one, responding with more than 24 officers.
We have to make sure that when we go to respond to an event with a large amount of people that are refusing to obey the law, we have to make sure we have enough resources to handle it safely.
People there that night agreed the city sent out a lot of resources, but not the ones they wanted. The group says finding a bed in Rapid City isn't as easy as it sounds.
There's a call made out by some of the relatives, and there's no place for them in safe bed or at the mission.
There's tons of resources. We have availability at the mission. We've got the care campus. There are options for homeless people in Rapid City.
As conversations continued Friday night, all the teepees were taken down except one.
It is 10:08, okay? If that teepee doesn't start coming down by 10:20, then this will become an unlawful assembly and people will go to jail.
But inside the last teepee, a group of people performing a religious ceremony ready to be arrested. Police did arrest the group inside, charging them all with unlawful assembly and other charges. They were all released by Saturday morning. In Rapid City, Connor Matson, Black Hills Fox News.
Continuing that conversation from last night, this afternoon, Rapid City Mayor Steve Allender held a media conference addressing last night's controversy, leading to the police being called to City Hall. Rapid City Chief of Police Don Hendricks and Mayor Allender were letting a member of the media into City Hall when a group of people standing outside wanted to come in. That group included a freelance journalist. According to a member of the group, Mark Tilson, the mayor stated she was not a, quote, real journalist and could not enter. When Allender turned the group away, a member then kept the door from closing. The mayor says he told them numerous times to move back and let go of the door. And that's when the situation escalated.
So I reached out and touched him on the chest and pushed him backwards slowly. As you'll see, there are plenty of live streams on this now, I'm sure. And I shoved him back so that he lifted up his foot. And at that point, the crowd became enraged, grabbed the door, held it open, and the situation escalated from there.
Mark Tilson, the person pushed by the mayor, was at City Hall to hear what Allender had to say about last night's homeless camp crackdown. After being confronted by Allender, Tilson turned to the chief of police.
If I just did to either you or the mayor to lay hands on me, if I laid hands on either you or the mayor, I'd be in cuffs right now. And I think that's the honest to God truth.
Now today with snowing the Black Hills, meteorologist Matt Gintark is in the Weather Center to tell us more. So Matt, what's the weather looking like for the rest of the weekend?
Wasn't it beautiful though? I know October snow doesn't seem ideal, but it's always nice to see the snow flying around outside.
You know, I was worried about it, but it is quite beautiful.
Especially being from Arizona, you don't see it often, but It was nice to see. Cold temperatures throughout the weekend. We may have another round of snow tomorrow evening. I'll get to that in just a little bit, but we are seeing a winter weather advisory right now in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Those out in Crook County, northeastern Wyoming, that may expire by tonight, and those into Lawrence County as well. It may continue for the southern hills as we see the snow starting to move off. The heavier amounts are starting to push south near Fall River County and even Custer County. As we expand out and we look off towards Montana, that's our next system that's going to be moving through tomorrow and to the later afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures falling into the 20s for most, although we're holding 30 degrees still in Rapid City, 25 for Custer, 28 for Newcastle. So yes, the roads are going to be slick overnight. If you have to get out tonight, make sure to use some caution on the roads. 29 degrees by 10 o'clock. You see those flurries still flying around, but then we'll be quiet overnight, cloudy conditions. And then starting off tomorrow morning, 25 degrees. So it's going to be a chilly morning ahead. And we'll take it up to 38 degrees tomorrow. May see a few peaks of sunshine in the early afternoon hours. Then the clouds move in and we may see another round of snow tomorrow. Could see an additional inch in some areas up into the hills, but I'll have more details coming up in Maine weather.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it. Thousands of people are gathering in Washington, D.C. and cities across the country today. They're protesting several issues before the November election. Melissa Rainey has a closer look.
Thousands participating in the second Women's March on Washington. Unlike January's event, the second Women's March this year coming in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are sicker, we are poorer, we are scared. We don't see ourselves in the future that is to come, and women are here. We are fired up, we are fed up, and we are voting Trump out of office.
Protesters required to wear masks and to observe social distancing. Organizers telling supporters in states on D.C.'s self-quarantine list to join remotely or to join local marches. Saturday's event still drawing large crowds.
The world is pretty much spinning, in opposite directions, no matter whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's women's rights. It's all connected in some way, shape, or another.
We want safety protocols on the job, we want paycheck protections, and we want that all before we go back to work, and that we're going to vote on this issue.
Saturday's event still a far cry from the 2017 Women's March on Washington, which may have been the largest single-day protest in U.S. history. Protesters say they're also voicing their opposition to the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
The process is a sham from start to finish. It's deeply undemocratic, and the majority of the people do not want this confirmation to happen until the inauguration.
And with huge turnouts for early in-person voting, organizers say they hope to bring a final show of force before the November 3rd election. I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Now, when you donate blood at Vitalant in Rapid City, it doesn't only help people locally. It can also help those in different states. Our Cali, Montana spoke with a local representative from Vitalant to see how natural disasters can impact the blood supply.
Blood donations are always crucial, but what happens when you add a pandemic to the mix along with natural disasters?
It's really increased our need to collect blood products because here at Vitalant in Rapid City, we send products out to affected regions where there have been natural disasters. So we are exporting products wherever they need the extra assistance right now.
Barari says hundreds of blood drives have been canceled in the areas affected by the wildfires and hurricanes.
People aren't able to make it out to the blood centers in those areas because they are either dealing with the disasters or they might need the blood products themselves because they have been injured in those disasters.
If you're interested in donating blood, you can visit Vitalant.org, and from there you can find out more information about the process and how to make an appointment. For new donors, they should plan on being there for an hour. For returning donors, about half an hour. But the process of donating will only take about 10 minutes. Reporting in Rapid City, Cali, Montana, Black Hills, Fox News.
To support local artisans, people made their way to the Fine Arts Building at the Central States Fairgrounds for the 13th annual Creative Hands Autumn Bazaar. Creator of the event, Michelle Sanchez, says it's been a great success. They first started with 6 vendors, but over time have gone up to about 40. But this year there are fewer vendors due to the pandemic. And with many events being canceled because of COVID-19, Sanchez says it's important to hold this event because this is the new norm and we want to keep the economy going.
It is important because they want to show their work and they need an income as well. And it's a good time to celebrate, and it's fall and we're getting ready for the holidays, and we want to end the year on a positive note.
All of the vendors at the event are from South Dakota. Now, Pierce Regional Airport hosted a ceremony yesterday honoring the new Eagle's Nest. The Eagle's Nest is a new art gallery in the airport commemorating the service of South Dakota military veterans and is intended to help visitors better understand their sacrifice. Austin Goss has the story from our Pierre newsroom.
Pierce Regional Airport saw an influx of people Friday. Part of that was due to a number of pheasant hunters getting in, but also because of a ceremony paying tribute to the new Eagles Gallery. The Eagles Gallery will commemorate a number of South Dakota military heroes, to include Senator John Thune's father, Harold Thune. He said South Dakotans always rise to the call of duty.
South Dakotans have always punched above their weight. I mean, we have always contributed to defending the country, and it's just been a sense of duty that comes with, I think, growing up here on the prairie. But South Dakotans of all generations, past and present, are significantly involved in doing the work that's necessary to keep our country safe and secure and free.
Artist John Mollison says that he hopes the history behind the paintings will help South Dakotans better guide their future. In Pierre, I'm Austin Goss.
Still ahead tonight on Black Hills Fox News at 9, it's almost November, which is a big shopping month. But what are the best deals and the worst duds in stores next month? A list ahead on Money Talks News, that's after the break, right here on Black Hills Fox. Meteorologist Matt Kintark is in the Weather Center tracking more snow. So Matt, how much more snowfall are we expecting?
Could expect anywhere between a ½ inch to an inch tomorrow, even still overnight tonight in Rapid City. But tomorrow, the hills could see another inch or two, especially in the higher elevations.
We've been following that Stevens boys soccer team the entire season. They hadn't lost all year. Comes down to the finals, and they lose by 1 goal. They actually scored first 2, so tough way for the Raiders to go out, but still incredible season for the guys. And the Raiders should still be pretty proud of this year.
I was going to say an upset, but definitely should be proud of all their hard work all season.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much, Brendan. We'll be right back. 3/4 of people surveyed say they eat pasta at least once a week. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely beat that record there.
I was going to say, I'm definitely one of those people. I eat pasta a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on your weekend. We'll see you again tomorrow. Domestic violence happens every day, sometimes right here in our backyard. Good evening, I'm Sunday Miller. Even with the pandemic, Working Against Violence has kept their doors open. Our Cali, Montana breaks down how the coronavirus can impact domestic violence.
COVID-19 has impacted our lives in many different ways, and a big change is people staying at home more. But this could affect someone who is experiencing domestic violence.
When you're already isolated and then you have that further isolation away from family, friends, and medical on top of that, it causes more strenuous atmosphere at home, and then we do see an increase in domestic violence, physical abuse.
Throughout the pandemic, Wavy has seen an increase in calls.
Not just here in Rapid, but throughout the area, because we are the larger shelter in the area. Some of the smaller shelters throughout the region, they're not able to handle the capacity of people, or they may have had to close due to one of their own staff being affected. So when they close, we see an influx of the people coming throughout the region.
Abuse comes in different forms, including verbal, financial, emotional, with some signs people can look out for.
There's a honeymoon period, everything's going great, and then they slowly start, taking control of, say, your phone, or asking where you've been, or, I want you all to myself, or let me handle all the finances.
If you or someone you know is in need of help, it's important to remember there are resources out there, like the National Domestic Violence Hotline and Wavy.
If you're not sure how to navigate conversations, you're more than welcome to call us at any time. We're open 24 hours a day.
Reporting in Rapid City, Cali, Montana, Black Hills, Fox News.
If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at the number on your screen. Now, during the last week, South Dakota saw 3 days with more than 700 new cases of the virus. We spoke with Senator Mike Rounds and Democratic challenger Dan Allers on the issues that set them apart, including COVID-19. Allers says the first thing we need to do is to listen to the experts due to misinformation and mixed messages circulating in the community. As a small business owner, he says they didn't need to shut down, saying they had a proactive approach to protecting their businesses and creating opportunities for business owners and their customers.
We need a state and federal government that can collaborate and work together to use common sense solutions to make sure that people can continue to keep this economy on track, but do it in a common sense way, one that doesn't jeopardize people's lives.
Round says it was the right thing to do to put packages together to help those unemployed from COVID-19 and also for individual businesses that shut down to limit the spread. He recommends when people are indoors or when they can't socially distance to wear a mask to help stop the spread of the virus. Rounds warns to not take the virus lightly. He says that doesn't mean to shut down your business, but to take extra precautions.
I just tell people, use South Dakota common sense. This is a very dangerous virus. If you are over the age of 70, the mortality rate is 7%. That's only a little bit better than playing Russian roulette.
Early voting and absentee ballots are already available for registered voters in South Dakota. Election Day is November 3rd, and both candidates want everyone to vote and have their voices heard. President Trump returned to the campaign mode today, holding an event on the White House lawn. It's his first since being hospitalized with COVID-19 just a week ago. Mark Meredith has the latest on the president's health and his upcoming stops along the campaign trail.
I'm feeling great. I don't know about you. How's everyone feeling?
President Trump had plenty to say to his supporters gathered on the White House lawn.
We're starting very, very big with our rallies and with our everything because we cannot allow our country to become a socialist nation. We cannot let that happen.
Saturday's speech marking the first time the president held an event since returning from Walter Reed Medical Center Monday. The White House says the president's health continues to improve, but officials have not yet said if the president has tested negative for coronavirus.
Our nation's going to defeat this terrible China virus, as we call it, and the vaccine is coming out very, very quickly in record time. As you know, it's coming out very, very soon.
The president kept his distance from the crowd by speaking from a White House balcony. The crowd itself did not social distance, but most people were spotted wearing masks. Democrats criticized the president's decision to once again hold mass gatherings. They argue it sends the wrong message about the dangers of the virus.
This election is about holding Donald Trump accountable, but it is about more. It is about electing a president who sees that government can be a force for good.
Meantime, both Joe Biden and President Trump's campaigns are adjusting schedules for next week. The two candidates were expected to debate in Miami Thursday. The debate has since been canceled after the president refused to give in to organizers' demands to hold the debate virtually. The president will be back out on the campaign trail next week. His campaign announcing 3 rallies, all in battleground states, including Florida, Iowa, and Pennsylvania. At the White House, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Today was warm but smoky in the Black Hills. Meteorologist Matt Gintark is in the Weather Center to tell us more. So Matt, how is the weather looking for the rest of the weekend?
Well, it sure was, but today could have been our last taste of summer-like air for a little bit, and that smoke's going to stick around for the morning hours tomorrow. Then it'll start to push off towards the east. We're expecting a cold front to move through in the afternoon hours tomorrow, but check out these temperatures because it's 9 o'clock at night and we're still in the upper 60s and even 70s. Spearfish, you're at 75 degrees. Rapid City, 68. Custer, 66 degrees. So I wanted to kind of just show the wind speeds as well because that's what's keeping us a little bit warmer right now out of the south, around 11 miles per hour for Rapid City. Spearfish, 16 miles per hour up towards the northern plains, 19 miles per hour for Buffalo. And this is some of the wind gusts as well. 32 miles per hour off towards Faith, but down towards Pine Ridge in the southern plains, you're around 32 miles per hour as well. So we'll have those gustier winds throughout the evening hours. If you look off towards northeastern Wyoming, we're starting to see those clouds start to build in, even some showers up into Montana. This is the next system that's going to be moving through, really shifting those winds out of the northwest tomorrow, bringing in that cooler air and the breezier conditions. Just check this out. The temperatures tonight will be dropping only into the 60s. 60s, and that's when we're going to see our high temperature for tomorrow. And then throughout the afternoon hours, we'll be dropping into the 50s throughout the day. Mostly cloudy skies through much of the morning and early afternoon hours. We may have a chance for some showers as well early on tomorrow morning, so I'll talk about that in a little bit and where you can expect some of those showers coming up.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt. 7 Rapid City firefighters are currently deployed and fighting large wildfires in other states. 4 of them are already in California at the August complex, while 3 other firefighters are in Wyoming battling the Mullen fire. Jim Bussell with the Rapid City Fire Department says they have done deployments all summer long, and it's something that happens every year. He says deployments are important for a few different reasons, from gaining experience to mutual aid. If there is a large wildfire in our area, other departments across the country will come to assist us.
It's something that we're very proud of, and it's something that we all take a great deal of pride in, being able to go out and have the training and the equipment to go out and help other communities.
Bussell says Rapid City is just one of several departments throughout South Dakota that have been deploying throughout the summer. Tropical Depression Delta is still a major concern this weekend as it continues to move, leaving hundreds of thousands of people without power. Several parts of the southeast are bracing for dangerous amounts of rain, flooding, and possible tornadoes. Connor Powell is in Louisiana with the latest.
Everybody needs to exercise a lot of caution, even now, and really especially now.
Still packing a punch. Delta moving across Louisiana and putting some southeast states on alert as it approaches.
Even though it's light out and the storm has passed, the leftover damage from that storm is still there.
On Saturday, more than 5 million people were under flash flood warnings, one day after Delta made landfall in Louisiana as a Category 2 hurricane. Meteorologists say parts of the southeast could see rainfall amounts of more than 8 inches before the weekend is over.
We got about 3 inches of water, and the water's done seeped into the drywall, so we'll have to replace the drywall.
The National Weather Center says tornadoes were also possible Saturday over parts of southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and over Alabama, Tennessee, and the western Florida Panhandle, and parts of Georgia.
We're seeing lots of trees, lots of utility poles, lots of down power lines.
Delta left nearly 700,000 homes and businesses along the Gulf without power. In storm-scarred Louisiana, the storm dropped over a foot of rain in communities already battered by Hurricane Laura weeks ago.
There will be damage in southwest Louisiana that will be very difficult to differentiate between what was caused by Hurricane Laura and what was caused by Hurricane Delta.
While they pick up the pieces, other states hope for the best as Delta inches towards them. In Lake Charles, Louisiana, I'm Connor Powell.
Still ahead tonight on Black Hills Fox News at 9, investing in the stock market can actually make you rich as long as you don't blow it. We'll talk about 5 wrong moves investors often make just ahead on Money Talks News after the break. Meteorologist Matt Gintark is in the Weather Center with an update on your weekend forecast. So Matt, can we expect any rain tomorrow?
We can. Not all of us, but some areas will see some rain. Best threat's going to be into northeastern Wyoming, but some of us will see some sprinkles and some light showers tomorrow morning, and then may linger into tomorrow afternoon as well.
Sometimes that's just how sports goes. They had not lost all season. They had 2 ties, but playoffs are playoffs. And that's what it comes down to. So they lose in overtime. Number 2 seed out of the tournament.
I'm sure they're upset, but they should be so proud of the season
Absolutely.
they had. I mean, that's incredible to go all season without losing. So.
Very good season, and Stevens is still in it. So we still got a West River team out here. Hopefully can do it for us.
Good to hear. The purpose is to support the website pleasestay.us, which supports suicide prevention. The Born This Way Foundation will have resources posted across all its social media sites. Organizers are hoping that people playing the word game feel connected to this important cause. Now, I know, guys, so often we think about physical health, but it's so important to check in on the mental health of your friends, your family, so maybe a good time to give them a call.
Absolutely, and it's such a simple thing, the word stay, but just to have that come up during the game, I mean, it makes a difference. So it's a pretty cool story right there.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is that community, that support.
Absolutely.
That's what you need.